So we're going to do a half sheet on plotting points. So let's find A. Where on earth is A? A is right here. Okay. You do X first, then Y. Please get your head up. And I don't like having to say that on my recording. All right. So let's try and focus. All right. For A, do you see how we went to the left first and then up? Like from the origin. You're starting at 0, 0, the origin. So it's going to be negative, how much? How much do we go for? Okay. -7, comma, +6. Now this grid is kind of nice because there's numbers on it. If there weren't, you would just have to count. Okay, so like if the numbers weren't there, you would just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right, let's find B. And some of you already filled this in, which is good. Just make sure you're checking your answers. All right, B. That would be 5, comma what? 4. Good. It's X and then Y. So you go left to right and then up and down. All right, C. C is over here. So we are going to have negative something. What is this one going to be? Good. -3, +2. Perfect. All right. This is going good, but I felt like we needed this. So we're just going to take a minute and do these 10 questions. Right? D is up here. That would be 4, 7. Beautiful. Right? Point E is over here. They're both going to be negative. Good. -6 comes first and then -2. Nice. All right. Point F. Little tricky because it's on the axis. So one of your numbers is going to be 0. Good. It's going to be 0, comma, -4. Perfect. Here, let's jump to J because that one's also on the axis, but it's the other way around. That one's going to be, yeah, it'll be 2, comma, 0 for that one. Again, you do X first, left to right, and then up and down. It just didn't go up and down at all. So that's 0. 2, 0. All right, good. G is where? G is over here. So -6, comma, -6, -7. All right. And then H is, what is H? 5, -4. Good. And then I is 3, -7. Cool. So when we get to the classwork from last time, again, because of the fire drill, a lot of you had to finish that. You have to be able to look at where a point is and then type your answer into Schoology with the coordinate. So we reviewed it. Cool. I still see computers open. That's rude. Please close this. I'm trying to do my job here. All right. Make sure everybody knows what's going on. All right. So last time we did symmetry. Let's just review that real quick. Symmetry means it's the same on both sides, like butterfly wings. Like you could fold it and they're going to match up. That was line symmetry. Point symmetry means if you flip it upside down, still looks the same. So we had line symmetry, we had point symmetry. And then we did translations, which just means you pick it up and move it. So you take it and move it somewhere else, right? Today we're going to do 2 more transformations. We're going to do reflections and dilations. And I have these nice little pictures that'll show them to you. So you'll just have to watch. So reflection means that you flip over a line. So you have a line and you reflect like a mirror. Again, kind of like butterfly wings. Like it's going to be the same on the other side. Can you put in your own pass for me, please? Because I set it up so you can start your own pass. So you're going to flip over a line. Now, again, and you're going to hear me say this all year long. You are going to have to just look. All right. Geometry is shapes and stuff. Okay. You're going to have to just look. The first one that we're going to do is reflect over the y-axis. And I have these nice little things that are going to show it to you. So you just need to look. All right. So here we've got this triangle. And I'm going to reflect it over the y-axis. So I'm going to choose reflect around a line, reflect it over the y-axis. Oh, that's not what I wanted to have happen. Oh, I need to click the object first. Oops, there it is. And reflect over the line. Okay, ignore that little H that I put in there. That was a mistake. I didn't mean to do that. Do you see what happened? Do you see it? Do you see the reflection? Like that's your y-axis in the middle and it reflected to the other side. And you have your little prime marks to show the image. You have the pre-image and then the image. So on your paper, we're going to flip over. So flip to the other side. Do you see where it says reflect over the y-axis? Please close the computer. That's the 3rd time this is now on my recording. All right, so we're going to flip over. And I can't have this and my to me. On our paper, do you see where it says A is -5, 1? Do you see that on your paper? -5, 1. Do you see how this is right here? What is A prime now? We just reviewed plotting points. What is our A prime? Positive 5, 1. Go ahead and write that on your paper. Again, I can't show both of these at the same time, so you're going to have to just listen, all right? How about B prime? Where did B prime end up? Just what point is that? 5, 3. Good. Go ahead and write it on your paper. And then C prime is 3, 3. Good. So I'm going to now go back over here, and you guys are going to kind of just have to deal with this. I can't have both things up here at the same time. So let me stop sharing. This is what you should have written on your paper if you listened to me. And what I want you to notice is that what's different. That's what we're going to put in this little box here. What is different about the number? Just what do you notice? The X's are what? Yeah, the X's are all positive. They were negative, now they're positive. So we're going to say X is opposite. In this case, they were negative and we turned them positive. If they were positive, you would turn them negative. It's just the opposite, okay? So flip back to the front and you'll see that it says it right here for you. You're going to change the sign of the X values. So change the sign of the X values. Put another little example on there. If your point is -2, 1, and you reflect over your y-axis, what's your new point going to be? If you change the sign of your X points, it would be +2, 1. So all you do is change the X value. Now I'm going to share and we're going to do the next one. So go and flip over. That was over the y-axis. Now we're going to reflect over the x-axis. And again, I have this nice little thing that is going to show it to us. I just have to share the screen. And again, you're going to kind of have to put up with that because I can't have two screens up here at the same time. All right, so let me come over here. We're going to reflect this over the x-axis. And I'm going to do it correctly this time. So over the x-axis. Do you see it? Do you see what happened there? Over the x-axis, like this is your x-axis. It was up here, now it's down there, all right? So what is your point for A prime? And you're going to have to just listen and write it on your paper because, again, I can't show them at the same time. What is your point for A prime? Perfect. Write it down. -5, -1. I'll show it to you back up here. Again, I can't show them at the same time. All right, B prime. That's -5, -3. Perfect. And then C prime. Perfect. -3, -3. So again, I'll go back over here and I can show it to you. But the point is, what do you notice happened? All the Y's are opposite. They were positive, now they're negative. Y is opposite. So let's recap. Do you have your paper at all? Can you go back to your seat, please? What is going on? Do you understand that, like, this is the thing that you have to know when you take your test? Are we doing care now? Like, and I hate that me fussing at you is now on my recording. It's annoying, all right? So let's recap. When you reflect over the y-axis, you change what? The x value. When you reflect over the x-axis, you change the y value. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip over, and we're going to write it in our notes here. So reflect over the x-axis, you're going to change the sign of the y values. So it's just opposite, okay? So if you have this point, -2, 1, perfect. -2, -1. You keep the x the same, you would just change the y value. Nice. All right, I'm going to share and we're going to do the next one. This is going well, though. You guys are listening to me. We're flipping back and forth because we are having to do a lot of flipping here. But it's only one piece of paper, so you can handle it. All right, so flip back over. Now we're going to reflect over our diagonal lines. So y equals x. Let me share screen again. All right, I think this is the one we just did, right? So I want to leave. Go away. Okay, so here we're going to reflect over y equals x. So do you see that y equals x line is already drawn in for us, that red line there? Let me try and get this out of the way. All right, so I'm going to take this triangle. We're going to reflect it over y equals x. Now, I've tried moving this around and it won't let me. So you're going to have to kind of look down there at the bottom right-hand corner. And we're going to write down our new points, our image points. Can you see A prime? Can anybody see? I know it's kind of close to the bottom, but it won't let me move it. 1, -5. Perfect. Go ahead and write it on your paper. 1, -5. So 1, -5. And then what is B prime? Good. What B prime is 3, -5. Good. 3, -5. And then C prime, 3, -3. Good. I feel like most of you are still with me here. Okay. So let me come back over here. Stop sharing. What do you notice happened to the points? They just flipped. That's all that happened. You just flipped them. All right. The X and Y are flipped. You just took them and reversed them. So if you go back to the front, we'll write that in our notes. This is like where I'm showing it to you so you can see what's happening, and then we go back and actually write it down. All right. So if you reflect over the line y equals x, you are going to flip the x and the y values. Just change them around. You're just reversing them. So flip or reverse, whatever word you want to use. So if your point was -2, 1, what is your new point going to be? Okay. And again, I'm going to do a recap. Every single thing we add on, I like to go back and recap. If you reflect over y, you change the sign of x. If you reflect over x, you change the sign of y. Perfect. And if you reflect over your diagonal line, y equals x, you just, perfect. Okay, one more. So go back. We're going to flip our paper. Now we're going to reflect over -x. So share again here. You guys are handling this. This is going good. Very nice job. All right. Y equals -x. So I want to reflect over a line. I'm going to click my shape. Do you see how the y equals -x is the line that's going downwards? Remember, negative goes downward, negative slope. You all passed algebra 1. All right, so let's write out our points. A prime, what is the coordinates there for A prime? Yeah, it's -1, +6, right there, where A prime is. -1, +6. Good. And then B prime, -3, +, good. Perfect. You guys can all plot points, all right? And then C prime is -3, +4. Perfect. Awesome. You guys rock. Okay, making my job easy today. All right, so now that we got all the computers put away. So what do you notice happened? They flipped and what? So instead of -6, +1, we have -1, +6. So they flipped and they're the opposite. Good. So they are flipped and the opposite sign. So you change the order and you change the sign. So you do both. Kind of like a contrapositive. You flip it and negate it. So come on back over here and we'll write that in our notes. So when you reflect over the line y equals -x, you're going to flip the x and y values and opposite the signs, or change the signs, or negate the signs, whatever word makes sense to you, but whatever you had, you're going to change it. So if it was positive, you make it negative. If it's negative, you make it positive. Perfect. Before I could even ask, -1, +2. You flip them and negate it. This is going so good. All right, we have, oh, well, I guess I have one other thing to say there. Now, if you go across any other line, there's not really a rule. You're just going to count the number of jumps from each point to the line of reflection. So, for example, if you had like a different kind of line, you would just count how far away you are and then just go that far away on the other side. Before I have you do your classwork, I'll just like put a grid up there and I'll show you an example of one. Okay. Or actually, I can even just show you right here. Can everybody just watch? You don't have to draw this on your paper, but just watch. Say you had a point at like 1, 2. Do you see that point there? Just watch. I'll just explain it to you. So say you're going to reflect over the line y equals -2. Do you see what I did there? That's my line of reflection. Can you just watch? Like, how many jumps away from it are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see how I'm 4 jumps away from that line? Yeah, you would just go 1, 2, 3. I don't have enough space to put another tick mark in. 4 on the other side. So do you see how we'd reflect over this line? I just like counted how far away I was and then counted that far again. You would just count the little boxes is all that you would do there. Okay. All right. And then the last transformation we're doing is dilation. So let me share my screen. We'll do dilation. You've heard that word before. Have you ever heard that your eyes dilate? Like when it gets dark in a room? Okay. It's the same thing with a shape. Because what happens when your eye dilates? What does it do? Yeah, it gets bigger. Or like if it's really bright outside, then they get literally the exact same thing with the shapes. Okay. So here, watch. I'm going to dilate from a point. I'm going to click on my shape, click on my point, and we're going to make it, I think it was a factor of 2. Can you flip over? Does it say, yeah, scale factor of 2. So watch, I'm going to put a 2 in there, click OK. What happened to the shape? It got bigger. Okay, so let's put our points in there. What is A prime? There is going to be a 0 in there. It's going to be -8, 0. Perfect. So for A prime, you're going to put -8, 0. Again, you kind of just have to listen. I can't have both screens at the same time. -8, 0. B prime is -8, +4. Perfect. And then C prime is -4, +4. Perfect. Okay. So I want you to look at that and just what do you notice? What happened to the numbers? They multiplied by 2. The scale factor was 2. We just multiplied by 2. So just put that in that little square there. That's what happened. If your scale factor is 2, you're going to multiply by 2. That's literally it. If the scale factor was 7, you would multiply by 7, and the shape would get 7 times bigger, is all that's going to happen. Okay? So let's do that last one there, and then we'll flip over and write it in our notes. Right? So multiplied by 2. Just got twice as big is literally all that happened. So you're just going to multiply all the numbers by whatever it is. All right, so is that other one a half? I think it did one that was a whole number and one that was a fraction, right? Yeah, okay. So this one is going to be a half. So I'm going to click on my shape. I'm going to click on my point. I'm going to put 1/2. What do you think is going to happen if I put a half? Yeah, well, it's going to get smaller by a half. It's going to be half. Look at that. Oh my gosh, a teeny little cute triangle. All right, so what is A prime? Let's put that point in there. -2, 0. Half of nothing is still nothing. All right. B prime is -2, +1. Perfect. And C prime is -1, 1. And what you did is you multiplied by a half. You just did half of what you had before. And the shape got smaller, is what happened. Cool. This is going good. So we'll flip back and we'll write that in our notes. And that's kind of it. We did reflections and we did our dilations. All right. So do you notice we did half of -4 is -2? Like you're just doing half of those numbers. Right. So go ahead and flip over and we'll put it in our notes. You're going to multiply the X and Y values by what is called the scale factor. If you scale something, it just means you're making it bigger or smaller. The example I always use is, do you guys know what the Eiffel Tower is in Paris? You know how you can buy a keychain of the Eiffel Tower? And it looks exactly like the Eiffel Tower, but smaller. It's like you took the actual Eiffel Tower and scaled it down so that it was, 3 inches high. All right. So this one, your scale factor is 5/2. I will kind of be your calculator here, but all you would do is take your numbers and multiply them by 5. Or do you want me to teach you how to multiply by 5/2? It's really not that hard. You would take -2, multiply it by 5. What is that going to give you? -2 times 5. -10 divided by 2 would be -5. Good job. You just multiply by the numerator, divide by the denominator. If no one ever sat you in a seat and explained to you how a fraction works, that bar just means division. You multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. That's all it is, right? So let's take 4. 4 times 5. 20 divided by 2, 10. That's all that there is to it. You multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. But you can, of course, still use a calculator. All right, this one is 1/4. We're going to multiply each of our numbers by a 4th. If you multiply it by a 4th, you're really dividing by, or you want a 4th. Like if you ate a 4th of a cake, like you would divide it into 4 pieces and you would eat a 4th. Don't eat a 4th of a cake. That's not a good idea. All right. So a fourth of 12. 12 divided by 4. Be 3. Good job. And then a fourth of negative 8. It would be negative 8 divided by 4. Negative 2. Perfect. Listen, I ended